Hello, everybody. This is Paul Tinkle, and welcome to this week's 30 Minutes program here at Thunderbolt Radio. It's really nice to be able to sit down and talk about someone's career, but more importantly, what they have done in their career that helps people much like you right here in Weakley County and perhaps across the state of Tennessee. His name is Scott Norris. Many of you in District 8 of the Constable's District or the County Commission's District. Scott Norris is a constable. He's very certified. He's been doing this for a while, and he wanted to share with us, and we wanted to share with you, what are constables doing each and every day. Scott, thanks so much for coming on. Do I refer to you as Constable Norris, or do I just, can we just be friends here today?
Yes, sir. This Scott will be fine.
Yeah. Scott, tell me, first off, why are you a constable? Why would you want to be a constable here at this time in your life?
Oh, Paul, that's a great question. I get from a lot of different people. To me, it's a way of giving back to the community. It's something I've always wanted to do. It's no cost to the community for what I do. You know, what we get paid for is we can serve papers and get paid for like that. We can run security for different. I mean, there's just ways that we can make our money up to help offset our equipment price.
But the constable's job is not a full-time job unless you want to make it a full-time job. Is that
That's
kind of,
correct.
Kind of the
That's
way it goes?
correct.
How long have you been in the Weakley County Constable?
I was elected in 2018.
And what got you excited to want to go out and ask for a vote to let you be the next constable in Weakley County?
Actually, I hadn't given it a lot of thought, but I had the county commissioner in my district approached me about it.
Who was that at the time?
Jack Vincent.
Uh-huh.
Super good guy.
Uh-huh.
And after he approached me, I got to looking into it and decided that'd be something I'd like to do to help the people in the community out.
You know, the thing that we have with constables, I think maybe some people have the, maybe feeling that, what's he doing over there at the school? I mean, is there something going on? Or why is he with the sheriff's department? Is he also a part of the sheriff's department? And those two questions come to mind, I guess, from time to time.
I'm going to read you something here, Paul, that it's our mission to provide additional law enforcement presence in the county and to assist and supplement the county sheriff's office and police departments. A Tennessee constable is an elected position with full power of arrest and is a state peace officer under Tennessee Code anointed. While their powers as peace officers are statewide, their activities are generally conducted in the county where they are elected. We are peace officers of the Tennessee judicial system as prescribed by the state of Constitution. We are charged with keeping the peace and with law enforcement of the laws in the states and the county and its cities. Constables operate at no cost to the citizens of Weakley County. We provide our own uniforms, vehicles, fuel equipment, and ready to aid all citizens and agencies within the county.
So you are a backup plan for law enforcement officers in police departments and sheriff's department and so forth?
We don't actually have to be a backup. We can be the first person. But most of the time we are backup. If I see one of the agencies is shorthanded and I'm fairly close by, then I have no hesitation to assist right then.
And are they your boss, for example, the sheriff? If there's an incident going on and he said, "Yeah, we can use you," then you.
Yeah. Most of the time, that's true. I respect all of our brothers and sisters in law enforcement, and I never go to impede on what they're doing. I'm just there to help them, and they know that. So
it's always good to have an extra set of eyes and someone who knows what's going on and how to handle the situation.
It's always good whenever I do go that I get thank you. I appreciate it. That means a lot.
Going out as a constable, you just don't get elected and get in your car and start waving a badge.
No, sir.
Tell us about your training to be a constable.
Well, we're required by the state to have at least 40 hours of in-service training, whether we do it online or in person. I do better with talking with someone and seeing someone speaking to me, and so I choose to take it with the sheriff's department.
Mm-hmm. What do you learn in that 40 hours of of in-service training and so forth?
I'll give you some examples. We're actually going through it right now. This is we're fixing to start week 3. We have de-escalation and a duty to intervene, mental illness, EVOC, which is emergency vehicle operations, DUI refreshers, OC spray, taser, less lethal training, defensive tactics.
There's no doubt in my mind that you are much like a police officer.
Yes, sir.
And but you do carry a badge.
Yes, sir.
You do carry a weapon.
Yes, sir.
But you don't have a car unless you...
It's our personal vehicles.
So if you're driving, I've got to ask you this question. So if you hear something on your radio, you have radios, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you hear something on the radio and you show up on the scene, how do they know who you are?
Well, 9 times out of 10, I have my safety vest on. I keep it in the back seat of my truck all the time, and for my safety, I'll put it on. Now, if it's like a vehicle accident, I have a vest on, and it says constable on the back, so they have no. They can see who I am just by looking at me.
So the public must respect that position because you are elected, and you are a. Would it be safe to say you are a bona fide state authority, if you will?
Yes, sir.
For law enforcement?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We have authority throughout the state of Tennessee, but we usually stay within our counties.
Mm-hmm. Scott, I appreciate you coming in today. And there's a couple of things that, I wonder about. When is a constable needed?
That's a good question. I mean, I've been called on the phone in the morning and woke up and had to go to a call where there was to de-escalate a fight between a man and a woman. But I did, I didn't go out there by myself because that's a dangerous call to go on. So I did call for backup, and I've had deputies call me from the sheriff's department back years ago, and I worked with them. So yes, I get calls from different departments to help out. And if if I'm out and I hear somebody call that they need help, I don't hesitate. I'm right there to help out.
Well, I got to ask you that, and what happened in that situation? They get husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't need to know those things, but that was between 2 people. So what happened?
Let's just say that they were separated and warned.
Yeah, then calm down.
Absolutely.
You go home, or whatever it is. So.
It's like the saying is, at the end of the day, we all have families to go home to.
Yeah.
But I'm more into, I try to de-escalate anything and give everybody a second chance. I don't like to be, I'm not real harsh with them unless it really, really need to be.
You grew up around these parts?
Yes, sir, I did. I've been, we moved here back in 1978, and so I've got to know a lot of people, and I've lived in Dresden and Martin, and I've gotten to know a lot of good people in the county, and this is my small way of giving back to the community.
You have a full-time job, is that right?
Yes, sir. I've been at FedEx Freight for 29 years.
And when you're done with FedEx during the course of the week or the night or whatever it is, you're pretty much on call 24/7 if they need you?
Yes, sir. If they need me, and then where I can go and help, I don't hesitate to go and help. But yes, sir, we're on call pretty much 24/7.
The constables get the recognition they deserve?
That's one reason I'm in here, because I'm trying to help educate the everyday citizen of what we do, what we want to do for the county. And we're not trying to, I don't know how to word this, but we're not trying to overstep the law enforcement boundaries.
If you just joined us, Scott Norris, Constable, District 8, Weakley County, our guest today. And we're just talking about the things that constables do that you might not even know anything was going on. To me, by the way, do you have a uniform?
Yes, sir.
Full-blown uniform
yes,
that
sir.
Says constable somewhere,
Absolutely.
Badge, and all of these things. So when you walk into a high school basketball game, for example, you're the same as the police officer that may be there, or the other school resource officer, and so forth.
Absolutely, we're there as an extension to anybody that needs us. We have one gentleman that works all the ball games in Gleason. That's his passion, and he loves that.
You want to go ahead and tell us his name?
Yeah, Brother Richard.
You know, and when you're talking about somebody like him, and I've seen him at ball games, I feel better. I don't know how else to say it. You know, when there is a presence of a school resource officer, a sheriff's deputy, a constable, there's just something that, you know, maybe as an adult, and I look around and I say, this is good, you know, somebody. Because sometimes in basketball games, a little closer maybe from time to time, there are people who get a little bit overly excited about a call that they didn't agree with, for example.
Well, they have, I can see over the years where there's a lot of disrespect for coaches, referees, and I've heard some of the stories where he's had to escort people away from the games, and it's sad. But and we're talking about children, so adults ought to be setting a better example for their children on the court. But they lose their temper and say or do things that they normally wouldn't do. But people like Richard and other police officers at these ball games, they're really needed.
You know, the thing that I'm most impressed with, I think, is just to know that people want to be a constable. And right now, as we speak, there is no constable in one of the districts as we record this program here in the month of July. But not everybody wants to be a constable. Not everybody wants to take that initiative to give back to the community, because you're not paid by the county, right?
That's correct. We're not paid by the county.
No mileage?
No mileage.
No gasoline?
Our own, out of pocket.
No car? No truck?
That's correct.
What about weapon?
We have to buy everything that we carry.
Cuffs?
Spray.
What's it?
If they have a taser, we have to buy everything.
What about insurance for a constable? Do you have a special insurance policy to take care of you? Either?
No, sir. I mean, if we get hurt doing the job, then it's on our insurance. We don't get, like, if we get hurt and we're at home on the men per se, it's on us.
You, and a lot of people don't know this, but you do serve papers, and that's a tough situation sometimes because people don't like what's coming to them, and you have to present it. Those are court records that had to be presented to someone who is maybe not very happy with this current situation, whether it's a divorce or something else going on, being sued by somebody.
Oh, you go into a scary situation, never not knowing what the outcome's going to be. One in particular is serving divorce papers. This man or woman may not know that they're fixing to be served divorce papers. So sometimes they'll go irate on you, and you just have to try and calm them down and talk to them that you're just doing your job.
How do you feel when you go and handle custodial papers, children? You talked about divorce and so forth.
I'm just doing my job. I try not to take it personal. If I took it personal, I wouldn't be serving them at all. So,
sometimes you can see that there is an emotional charge that took place and you're the bad guy, not intentionally by any means,
right?
But you're the guy who brought the bad news.
Absolutely, we're the bearer of bad news, and like I say, we don't want to be, but we're just a part of the court system that it has to be done. And
to be clear, it's not just the delivery of a court paper at someone's home. Sometimes you have to go to their business or the place of which they're employed. And that's a little bit dicey. I know you want to share some things about that.
Yes, sir. I have been to several businesses, and for the most part, these people know that they're being sought after probably because they owe money to an individual.
Bad checks?
Bad checks.
You just mentioned divorce a moment ago. What other kind of papers do you can take out or have taken out?
Well, I've taken papers out for a snap-on tool gentleman. When he didn't receive his money, of course, he had to go to court, get a judgment. And then, that's what I'm saying. These people owed him money. So I didn't feel bad about that at all. I think, it's like stealing.
When do the cases that you are involved in, do you see more nighttime, daytime, weekend time?
Mostly just afternoon time. I very seldom have I been out on weekends and had to serve papers. It's more like an afternoon time. And I do try to catch them at work. That's the best place to catch them.
But you never know when there's going to be an event that you know that your brothers and sisters in law enforcement here in Weakley County might could use another hand.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very, very dangerous occupation to be in. And the main reason is because of the drug influx we've had in the county over the years and the state over the years. Drugs will make a person do normally what they wouldn't, and they have the strength of 3 times of what they normally have. So it's very dangerous. They're just completely out of their mind until they come down off that high.
You are someone that is kind of incognito if you don't have your uniform on. And you also are like many men and women that are close to law enforcement. They usually tip somebody else off and say, you might want to go check that house. I'm talking about going to a sheriff's office and say, hey, I believe that there is an issue going on at such and such a house. And, you're the eyes that maybe they haven't been able to put their eyes on until somebody like you who happens to get information.
Well, it hadn't been long ago. I was with another deputy, and we were clearing a house, and that's a scary place to be.
Tell them what clearing the house means.
Well, there was a burglar alarm that had gone off, and it was a single woman, an older woman, and she pulled up in the driveway as I did, and of course the alarm's going off, and she wasn't sure what was going on, so we had to go in and make sure that there was nobody in that house to harm her. We didn't find anything, and she had left the front door open, but that was a good thing. We like to have good endings, good outcomes to come of it all, but you never know where a bad person may be.
Do you find that your heart beats a little faster when you get into these situations?
It better, because if it's not, and you're too comfortable, that's when you're going to get hurt or get killed. So at the end of the day, we want to go home to our family safe. Mm-hmm. And we want to protect our brothers and sisters and law enforcement, fire, EMS, because their lives are in danger when they go to a call, a lot of times.
We were talking about training a few minutes ago, and you were talking to us about working with the sheriff's department, seeing some courses online and so forth to maintain your 40 hours of continuation to be able to be a constable. What happens if you don't pass that, or if you fail to put in the 40 hours? You just relinquished your constableship, I guess you could say. If you don't go by the guidelines of at least 40 hours of in-service a week, firearms training, then you're not doing your job. You're not putting the time in to be certified anymore. So at that time, of course, Richard Black, he's the president of the Weakley County Constable Association. He'll go to the county commissioners, and they'll just pull his constableship where he's no longer has the. Yeah, you want to keep those records intact.
Well, and it helps you every day on your job. That's an education that we all have to have every year, and they're very interesting courses.
You carry the weapon. We were talking about that earlier. Where do you go to train with your firearm?
Well, it's a firearms training course. I mean, we have several different course instructors throughout the county, but since I do it through the sheriff's department, and I have one Martin police officer, John Cross. He certifies me most of the time, because if I don't have the time where I can go to the sheriff's department and certify on a particular day, like I have to go to work, then he'll make time, for me. So, but that's most of the time. That's where I go, is the sheriff's department.
How many times, if any, have you had to use your firearm?
0. Thank the good Lord.
How many times have you pulled it out of your harness or your holster, and knowing that you're in a situation that you got to take care of yourself and other people around you?
Actually, I've never pulled my weapon on anybody. The only 2 times I've unholstered it is 2 different properties that we had to clear, and that. But I've never pulled my gun on any one person.
That's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, absolutely.
You've been with a lot of other constables. What kind of stories do they have about what they have done?
Oh, well, we we have meetings, but we don't really talk about what we have done per se. It's what we have going on in the near future, like festivals and who we might be able to help at what point of the year. So we don't really share any stories per se.
You know, that's something that you just mentioned that nobody probably realizes, that they have what I guess you would call some security at a fair, a festival, parade. There's a lot of, as we have just seen here with former President Donald Trump, we never know. And you can't really put enough eyes on what's going on out there in the community, or for that fact, you know, along a parade. You know, as many would know in our audience and listening to this program, John F. Kennedy, President of the United States, with the top down, and he's waving, and the next thing you know, we've lost our president.
Yes, sir. It could happen in any of our small communities. We hope and pray that it never does. But I take that serious when I'm at any community event.
Your
festival.
eyes are looking in many different directions.
Yes,
Tell
sir.
me I'm right.
Yes, sir, they are. You know, I want the safety of everyone there. And there are wannabes out there. And you always fear that someone might use an automobile to try to kill, you know, other people for whatever reason. But, yeah, my eyes are always on the back of my head.
A lot of juveniles like to run a little bit hot on their motorcycle or maybe their automobile, or these side-by-sides nowadays. I mean, those things are really, really, really good if you handle them in the right way.
They're very fast, I can tell you that much.
And a lot of these are not, in fact, licensed.
Right. I mean, we're still talking about festivals and parades, which they're giving a lot of leadway so they can enjoy themselves. They can have fun. We were all young once, so I respect that. I want them to have fun and enjoy themselves, but I want them to do it in a way that's lawful, and they're not putting anybody's life at risk, especially their own.
You know, we talked about the things that you have to do your job effectively. If there is something that the county commission could help the constables with, or the state of Tennessee being able to say, our constables are important people to the livelihood of the constituents here, what would you like to ask for? Or what could be something that would help people in your situation as being a constable?
I mean, just to help offset some of the cost that we have to endure, like buying our own equipment, that would be fantastic. I'd like to see that someday, that the county commissioners would help us. I've not ever attended any meetings and brought that up before, but it's something to think about, because the cost is a lot more now than it was in 2018.
What would you want if you had this is the one thing that I would like to have to help me do my job better, to serve the people of District 8, Weakley County, Tennessee, as constable?
You know, I don't really know about one particular item, because ever since I've gotten into it, I've bought my own guns, ammunition, vest. My vest, that was a very expensive item, and there's some that don't have a bulletproof vest. They can't afford it. But if they're going to go out on calls, you can't go out unprepared or ill-prepared. You need to be in full uniform so you can go home at night to your families.
When you're on the job, you've got the vest in. You are making sure you're going to do everything you can to come back home to your family. Yes,
I hope and pray that that vest is never put to use. But I've got it, and it gives me peace of mind. You know, it's one of the better ones that they have out now. Will stop more caliber bullets, so we'll stop a knife. So I do feel a lot safer.
Tennessee Highway Patrol officers have what you and I would call a very nice hat.
Yes, sir.
That they use. I don't see constables and sheriff's deputies very often with what we call cover in our world. Do you have a cap that says constable on it where you
Yes,
can
sir.
go out and be recognized?
Yes, sir. I have one that I wear pretty much at most of the places where I'm out in public, helping.
And if you're indoors, you take the hat off,
Absolutely,
I guess.
absolutely. It's pretty much a winter cap anyway, but
Yeah.
it does keep the sun out of your eyes when you're outside at one of these events, whether it be summer or winter.
We were talking a moment ago about serving papers and so forth, and some of the constables are very ambitious about that because it gives them a little extra money. You didn't hire on for the money, though.
No, sir, I didn't. Like I said, I hired on. It's just a passion of mine to try to help the people in Weakley County and the citizens of Weakley County. It might be that I've been out at night helping someone change a flat on the side of the road in the rain, and I've done it several times. Or just stop and check on someone that's having a bad day. There's different varies, but that's what I got into this for, because I wanted just to give back to the people, not to impede on any other office.
You have blue lights on your truck?
Yes, sir.
How much did that cost?
Roughly around $26,000 and $750.
And those are the lights that have to be respected whether you are in uniform or not, whether you are on a patrol or not. If you turn those lights on, it's business. Is that?
Absolutely. And it's this day and time, the way people drive. I mean, if I'm on the side of the road, even helping a wrecker get a vehicle, they say thank you, because it's so dangerous the way people drive these days. Whether it be on their phone or they're piddling with something in the vehicle, it's dangerous out there.
I know how important the pullover, that is so important, particularly for those people who have pulled over on the side of the road. You got to move over because, they may have a flat tire, may have to take medicine, may have to stop and take an emergency phone call. You never know what's going on that side. And people zoom, zoom, zoom past you. So fast.
It is. It's fast. And the law is, especially if there's an accident working, it's 10 miles an hour in that zone. And there's so many people that do not know this. They'll come by you doing 30, 40 mile an hour,
or faster.
Yes, sir. And I've been at accident scenes where there was a deputy that went and wrote a citation because they were going too fast. But it's dangerous for each and every one of us. It don't matter what line of EMS or law enforcement we're in. You could be hit at any second.
We haven't talked about emergency management services. We haven't talked about ambulances and so forth. You've been with those folks time in and time out.
I sure have, and enjoyed every minute with them.
And those are the people that are out there on the front lines also.
They do not get the recognition that they deserve. They're not in it for the money, for sure. They're in it for the compassion. And I've made a lot of good friends and grown a lot of respect for these people, men and women out there. They're just a love for the community, and they do an excellent job.
Scott Norris, he's a constable, District 8, Weakley County, been on the job since 2018, is not paid to do anything other than be a set of eyes that helps to oversee the safety of our communities.
Yes, sir, and I enjoy it. And, Paul, I do appreciate you having me on this program to try to highlight what we do as constables and why we do it. And like, again, I say it from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you having me on. Appreciate all you do.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you. Constable Scott Norris on our radio here this weekend. And you think of something that you need a constable for, just call the Sheriff's Department. They'll get in touch with somebody to help you if you got a problem along the way. Thank you again, Scott. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's our program today here on 30 Minutes. Paul Tinkle, pre-recorded here at Thunderbolt Radio.
You've been listening to 30 Minutes, a community affairs program on Thunderbolt Radio. You can listen to this broadcast and others anytime by visiting thunderboltradio.com and following the Thunderbolt Radio and Digital YouTube page. Thanks for listening.